Howdy, ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 544, the official Detroit Lions podcast post-game show for Reddit. I am the dashingest of dashing Chris's, and with me is my dashingest of dashingest Ashes, my good friend and co-host. How are you doing, my friend?
I don't know if I'm like the dashingest of dashing Ashes, but, it's a pretty small group.
I saw you
so until someone else comes for the title,
I saw you scramble for those beverages. You were dashing.
Yep. Indeed. Gotta have that Coke Zero. That's the mandatory minimum for doing one of these things.
Mandatory minimum. I myself am working with something called the Shock Treatment. Nice blue drink, frozen drink, made with Everclear, and the rest you don't need to know. It's delicious. All right.
Nothing else that's in it matters.
Oh, man. Let's talk about today. We're going to talk about the game. You may or may not have noticed the Lions just put a curb stomp on the Titans, and they showed us their tits. That was great. We'll also cover Coach Campbell's post-game presser. We'll do a little roundtable discussion, and as we love to do, we are wont to do, we will take your calls. We got all that going on and a whole lot more. Are you ready to rock, Ash?
Let's get it on.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
Ah, what a beautiful voice. It's the call of the wild, as they say. You hear let's
drives my dogs insane when I do that.
Okay. Oh, man. Jacksonville has got Green Bay tied right now, which is really fantastic.
Nice.
Jordan Love pulled a groin. It's probably not the first, probably won't be his last, but he's out. They got Malik Willis in there. This could be the showdown that the Slack chat needs. It could be the Malik Willis and Detroit Lions show. That should be fun.
Yes.
That'd be good. Good times. We got some good FTP call outs in the chat. Good to see that, folks. Aaron, one of our members. Had people around me at the Bucks game watching my phone while I was streaming the Lions game. Aaron, that's awesome. Awesome. Jameson, who? I see that as well. Good call. What a game. What a fantastic game. Lions fans and football fans in general, I could feel why you were a bit nervous in that first quarter. I could see it. It starts 0-0. Yep. Everybody's going to put it out there. But boy.
It's two professional teams, man. No, they're not going to show up and just let you win.
Yeah.
It's not how this league ever goes. No. Like that, any given Sunday is 100% true. And, again, we got an example of this team's not that team.
No.
They did not do the thing. That's a disturbing number of people still seem to be programmed to feel like they're going to do every week.
Yeah.
Every time anything goes even a little bit wrong, it's like, oh, here we go again. And it's like, no, bad. And now my dogs are really freaking out.
Rob, great game, but we still need a pass rusher. I'm feeling pretty good about the defense right now. Nice. I don't say we don't need one or couldn't use one, but you know what I can say? Great game, period. Great game, period, because that was an absolute curb stomping, ball dragging humiliation of the Tennessee Titans, 52-14. And this is the kind of game, this goes back to Caldwell and the Caldwell era is when I recall. It could have been even before, but we'd get ahead a little bit and then, they take their feet off the gas and then they lose, 70% of those games that people are freaking out. They did not take their foot off the gas and they just knocked those Titans in the face, man. And if you saw the tweet, you know what I'm referring to. But absolutely just buried it against their tonsils and didn't let them breathe. It was fantastic.
100%.
Yeah. Love this kind of game.
People need to get out of that. People got to get out of that Mr. Miyagi mindset and realize that we are Cobra Kai right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the leg. They swept the leg right there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want to see a football team do. Because like you said, there were people calling for Hendon Hooker to come in at the beginning of the third quarter. And from the score, sure. But he throws 2 interceptions in the third quarter, and suddenly that's a game again.
Yeah.
And that's the absolute last thing you want. We're watching, it's tied 27-27, Green Bay right now. they're in the red zone. What's Malik Willis going to do with that, right? Like this is information we do not want to find out about Hendon Hooker in a game where at one point we were up by 3 or 4 or 5 scores. You know, we don't want to find out. We don't want him to get a pressure test in that way. Like just come in the fourth quarter and just hand the ball off, and everybody goes home. Nobody gets hurt.
Yep,
that's Hendon Hooker's job right now. Ideally, we never find out if Hendon Hooker can play.
I had something for you, but I got to give Frosty Cakes a yell out. Frosty, first time the Lions ever beat the Titans. Also, this game could have been an email. I think
that's beautiful. I love that, man.
So let me tell you that. Let me put it this way. I'm going to yes and what you said about Hooker on the field, right? And this is where. Like we're picking nits in the continuous improvement lane here, okay? So this is not being negative about what we saw by any stretch of the imagination. I just want everybody to be clear on that because this was a sound
Nothing matters
win.
Before the butt.
Yeah. Well, this is a sound win. This was absolutely a sound win. Though, I would have liked to see everything in front of the butt is bull, right?
Yep.
Though,
however,
I would have absolutely loved to see them play with the same kind of intensity for a drive or two with Hooker at the wheel, because why not stick it further down their throat? Yeah. But number two, give Hooker the real kind of take off the training wheels, give him the real deal, and let him go out there and run the offense, because you never want to do that when you're behind trying to win a game for the first time. I'd love to do it here where, you know what, an interception, who cares? We'll put Goff back in, right? Or we'll start running the ball.
Okay, here's my counterpoints. Yeah. How many reps do you think Hendon Hooker has with Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I think you give him one. I think you give him one possession.
Probably never practiced with this man.
But again,
I think you give him the receivers he's comfortable with in his first game, and that's guys like if Maurice Alexander had been dressed tonight, that's a receiver he's probably thrown to a lot. You know what I mean? Like he had Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson and basically the practice squad guys that he started the year throwing to. That's who they gave him from the moment he came in.
However, if he gets thrown into service, he's going to have to figure out how to throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown and get reps with him. And I'd like him to do it against a 52-14 lead than against a 21-21 game or 17-21 game when we need the final drive down the field to win. I don't want that to be his first time. So I think putting him out there with the starters for at least one possession, right, to give them those real live fire, and and look, just run a possession offense down the field, right? Even if you need a guy to run a 4-minute drill, right, let him run that in real time against real players. I would really love to see that, and I think that would be a great education for him. Again, I'm picking nits on a massive win for this team, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking player development, and that's so far up the Maslow's hierarchy, right? I mean, we're putting the star on the top of the pyramid here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Oh man,
we are definitely star on Christmas treeing the Maslow's hierarchy when we're dealing with that one.
Yes, Jack.
I would say like the players I wanted to see come out sooner were the running backs. Honestly, those guys, they take so much damage, so much heat, and they're so important. You know, like I was kind of thinking that Craig Reynolds maybe should have got in a little bit faster, but again, like we're sitting here whining about like very specific things in the wake of the most dominant Lions victory that probably either of us can remember off the top of our heads. So, you know, there's really nothing to complain about today. Like it's 2 scores on defense without Aiden Hutchinson against an NFL team. And say what you want, it was still an NFL team. Like how many starts does Mason Rudolph have? He has
number one defense in the NFL.
3-4 touchdown games in the NFL. That has happened in his career. You know, and like Calvin Ridley, they couldn't cover Calvin Ridley for a few drives. But it's not like he ended with 400 yards on the day, you know, like they buttoned it up. They figured it out. They made adjustments. That's what I want to see in a game like this, is like the one thing that the Titans were able to kind of script in. The Lions took that away as the game went forward. So like I don't have no notes because I always have some, but you know, it's just because I'm that guy. That's the only reason I have any notes for this team right now.
Jack Casey going to Lambeau next week. Stadium. Want to walk out on-site report? Yes, we do. Yes, we do, Jack. That would be freaking awesome. We got Frank the Tank in the chat. Why are we talking about Hooker? Did you see this offense? Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown, Frank the Tank, Sewell, go Lions. Sewell, that beast of a block on the, I think it was the Montgomery hit. He just shoved his man 7 yards deep into the end zone and laughed at him once he was freaking dying. Fuck, the Packers just won on against the worst defense in the league on a field goal, which I saw that, and there it is. Ryan, that was the one I saw. Thank you. Riley, thank you, sir. Lot going on. Anand, thank you. Click like or you're a Tim Boyle. Don't let Tim Boyle. Turn the heat down and hit that like button. There it was. Mr. McFufu, you were the one that called the game-winning field goal against the worst defense in the league. That is fantastic. We got Don Burr, the biggest troll of the Chicago Bears on the line. Love it. Woo! Love this. Okay, so Ash, as we watch and we wait, we're going to get through the Dan Campbell presser, and then we'll start taking your calls after that. I just want to talk about something that you brought up in the chat, and I want to get your level of seriousness because it made one of my eyebrows go up.
Okay.
We got the deadline coming up for the trade. We had a really good audition here from a live look and audition from a team, if you will, called the Tennessee Titans. And Arden Key put some really good reps on tape out there, including the first play of the game, the sack on Goff. He's almost a 71.6 rated PFF edge rusher. What do you think? Is this something that you were honest about, maybe engineering a trade for a guy like this? Or are you just like, I'm toting everybody's line and just pulling their strings?
Honestly, like Arden Key has a whole career of not being particularly good. So I have trouble kind of thinking it's a good idea to off of this one game.
He's been about 70 PFF
making
since
huge
21.
decisions like
it's not bad. I mean, when you think about what you could get,
if you're asking me, is he better than the guys who were on the field today, where I had to look up their name because I couldn't identify them by number at the start of the game? Probably, But it's like, are you going to give up much for Arden Key? You shouldn't. Like, he made us look real bad, so my main reason to pick him up would be so that Green Bay or Chicago or the Vikings can't, because apparently Arden Key has some detail on Taylor Decker that made his day pretty easy today. And that's actually a thing I am a little concerned about here, because this is not the first time this year that someone has just turned Decker kind of inside out a little bit,
Yeah.
So sure, that's the level of guy I would expect them to pick up, someone who kind of has a career that's sort of on the same level as like a Charles Harris or a Romeo Okwara type guy. Like with Arden Key, that's what you're getting is someone where, like, ideally this person would not be starting for you, but he's probably better than us three edges in,
He's
definitely better than our third edge right now.
So I'm just looking at PFF, right? I'm just going with PFF. And we know that this is the number one ranked defense. He is the top rated of the front seven on PFF rankings as of right now. Probably before this game. But I mean, after this game, it'll probably only go up actually after what he did. But he's the top ranked of the front seven on the number one defense in the league. I feel like that's something to be spoken for.
Still the number one defense in the league?
Not yet. Well, finally the ratings haven't yet been updated. You have a couple other teams that have to play still.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just saying, I haven't even looked at what they did, like whether they've been so out of games the teams were just running against them, and that's a thing that takes your total yardage down, and that's the thing that the league for some reason still uses as its main defensive ranking stat is yardage. But like the Titans are awful. Every year there's 3 of the top 5 teams against the pass are teams that got blown out 2/3 of their games so that the other team wasn't throwing the ball. and that's kind of how I feel about this Titans defense, particularly after watching them here. The guy I was actually interested in seeing today was Harold Landry, and Penei Sewell made Landry kind of his bitch, really. Like of their two edges, that's the one that I would have a lot more interested in taking a look at from a skill set perspective. Just he's a guy with a lot more skill, frankly. Like I know Arden Key did get drafted reasonably highly, but like he's just I didn't like him in college. I don't like him now.
Darn it.
Probably bleeding through. I can't claim to have watched every game of his entire career and had like a real in-depth opinion on this. If PFF says he's great, you know what? In the situation we're in, if he's available, that's good enough for me, dude.
Oh God, I was able to get off a Dirty Cheaters tweet today. Love it. It's one of my favorite things. Nice. That guy is one of my heroes. He was friggin' tanked. And he's still tanked to this day. I'm certain of it. All right. So Lions went out there, really put the business on them, and it was in a really crazy way. Sam Laporta lost me some money, 2 yards short. Why couldn't you get another 2 out of that last catch there, Sammy boy? I could have used that couple of bucks. So the Lions burned all my bets today, and frankly, I don't care. I want to give a shout out to Trevor Nowaski. How about our guy? Huh? How about our guy? Yeah. Woo! He is stepping up. This is the kind of thing you really hope. Like you lose a guy like Hutchinson. Trevor's not an Aiden Hutchinson. Okay, so we're not saying that, but the way he stepped up, a couple of Trevors rotating in and out, that's what you need. That's the kind of play you need from your guys that need to step up, because you have an irreplaceable guy. You're gonna have to play differently, and that's one of those ways that you can gain some juice when your big guy's down. Yes, says Ash with a very swift nod.
Yep, I concur with what you just said. There's no question. I don't know what to say to that.
Oh man. So yeah, stats wise, as Big West says, weirdest game ever. I'm just going to look through the Lions stats right here. Jared Goff, 85 yards on the day, 85 yards, yet 52 points. Huh? Like what?
Yep.
Who knows? You got
mode squad. That tells you it's a good special teams day right there.
Yeah, I didn't put Sonic and Knuckles up. Sonic and Knuckles is going up tonight or tomorrow. I promise. It's shop.detroitlions.podcast.com. It's a friggin' cool shirt. I'll have it for kids too because they'll love it, but it's a fantastic shirt. Fun time shirt. I'll get that up, I swear, tonight or tomorrow, and I'll tweet when it goes, so you can just hit us at DET Lions Podcast on the Twitter, and you'll know when it goes live. Gibbs. Here's another one that's a little funny, and I guess it's the big run that you got, the 70-yarder, but 127 yards for Ja, and Demo 33 yards, only 33 yards for Demo, and I feel like he had a 100-yard game. I mean, he just churned out so many. Like those were hard.
Yep.
Those were 33 hard freaking yards.
Yeah, well, that's always his job. That's what the Lions have done with him since the beginning of last year. They've given him every tough carry, basically. Like occasionally, if Gibbs is in, they'll let him take a short yardage one. But for the most part, it has really been David Montgomery in that, thunder and lightning. He's the thunder every time that you need that. Like it just that's.
Can we ask about his passer rating though?
Is always not great.
He's got an arm again.
Yeah,
Montgomery. Did you see?
Somehow it's not perfect, I'm sure.
He bullied that ball. Like if you watch how his throwing motion, he was like, but it was this wicked freaking spiral that was bananas tight. All right, we got Coach Campbell coming on. Why don't we get him on the podium here really quick, and we'll do our thing.
Okay, how's it going? So credit that team. That team came out and played hard. I really felt that, and we figured they would.
Yes,
it's not like we didn't. So, credit to them. And I know it doesn't look that way, but we did come out to fight, and that's what we expected. I felt that we were going to be ready. We were going to be ready, and it's like I told them, that's what champions do. And you come out, you don't care what time of day it is, what the records are.
I don't care about that.
What the surface is. You come out and handle your business, and we did that. Now, we did not play our cleanest ball. We really didn't. However, when you have 4 takeaways on defense, you're 5 of 5 in the red zone, and you have the returns that our special teams unit had, punt return and kick return, then you can get a lot of production and things sway your way. So, but it's a hell of a team win, you know. And once again, this team knows how to complement itself, and all 3 units are humming. We're pretty dang good.
Is that the definition of complementary?
Yes, absolutely it is. Absolutely.
6-1 record, first time since 1956. I mean, y'all erased a lot of those narratives last year, the winning culture. But how does it feel to continue to do that? You know, to continue to do things that this franchise hasn't started?
Yeah, I mean, I think we, you know, it's really just about the one that's in front of us. I don't feel like it's something we're going for the next record. We're just playing ball. We're trying to play as clean as we can. We're trying to be as productive as we can. The players, you know, they're urgent about it, man. They're accountable to it, and they want more. You know, and they know when it's good and when it's not. You know, so that's a credit to them. And we still have room to improve, which is great. We've improved a ton, but man, we're those guys are taking the game plan and they're executing it, and it's on to the next one.
And you mentioned the 4 takeaways today. I think you had 5 a couple weeks ago, like 10 in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Beyond just having playmakers on that side of the ball, what has sort of led to this, frenzy of takeaways that you had, and how important?
Well, look, we emphasize it, and we have. It's not like we don't emphasize this, but it's sometimes it's a different way of doing it, and so every day, I mean, we do a takeaway circuit, and no different than we do ball security on offense. That's how we start once we're out of warm up, and man, you emphasize and you try to take it as serious as you can, and they need to be like game reps, and it's punch outs and it's strips, and because look, the interceptions will come, you know. Those things will come, and if you know, the ball carrier's loose with it naturally, those will come. But man, the ones you got to work on are the punch outs, man. The intention to it, finding, locate, hit it, get it out, the grabbing the front of the ball, grabbing the hand, pulling, scraping, and we work on that. But I've said this before, man. That stuff's contagious. It's contagious. Every team I've ever been a part of, player or coach, man, they start coming in bunches. And once you start getting the taste of it, guys want to be a part of that, and they start watching the guy next to them a little more focused. They start doing it, and pretty soon, it becomes contagious. Just like you start turning the ball over a lot, and you get tight, and all of a sudden, man, it starts going the wrong way, and those come in bunches too. So we're in a good place. It's credit to AG and those coaches over there, and it's big. You know, you get 4 takeaways, it can be hard for us to lose.
Now that you value special teams, just Khalif to have those big returns, and Doris to have a big one too, that had to make you smile. Just kind of see that production from special teams.
It sure did. I told the team, Leaf got a game ball in there, obviously, and I told kind of just the story of Brad coming into my office in 2021, and early spring, we were fresh on the job, and he said, "Hey, take a peek at this guy from Tennessee. He's really a returner, kind of gadget. You think there's a place for him on offense?" And watched about 10 plays, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely there is. Take this guy in a heartbeat." So, and it's been a blessing ever since to get Leaf here. What a pro he is. Guys love him. Coaches, players, man, you talk about reliable, and he's consistent, and the way he prepares, the way he works, and he does everything for us, man. He can play all the positions on offense. He's a dynamic returner. That was good to see, man. It's been a while since we got some big ones. And he's just, man, he's the best. And So that was great, man. The team's fired up for him, and I thought those guys blocked their rears off, and the rest was up to him. He turned it on and found it.
What did you see in those 10 plays? What was it? Offensive plays or returns or blocking? Or what did you see from him in those 10 plays?
Yeah, the returns. It didn't take but a couple of returns, but on offense, it was some of these men. They'd bring him in as a like he'd run some of these deep pylons, fast motion deep pylon, or the sail routes, and it was just like whoa. His speed showed up, and then knowing that really he's a returner, I'm like, there was a naturalness about him, and you can't hide from the speed, but it wasn't like he's just speed, and he's a fluid athlete, and it just at the time it was, we desperately needed it.
And you also comment on how you picked up on him, and he's done so much with the team. Yet he was with 3 or 4 other teams that picked him up, cut him, moved him around, and that happens in the NFL. It takes a while to just sort of find your place sometimes. It takes years to find his. Yeah,
and I tell guys all the time, go talk to Leaf. Some of these young guys, I'm like, you want to know reality in this league? Go talk to him. He'll give you perspective. We got a couple of guys that way. So, you don't ever know. You don't know what is it going to take. Why did the things happen they did? And there's a lot of things that go. It could be circumstance. It could be coaching staff just doesn't see the value. It could be he's too small. Could be he's a returner only. Could be at that time he wasn't playing with confidence, right? And I'm using him as an example, but there's so many factors that go into it. And I know this. Everything for him, it's been perfect, and it's been the right mixture, and the environment has been great, and he's been outstanding, and his confidence level, and everything he brings to us as a player. But he's everything. I can stand up here and go, I could go all day talking about Leaf, what a stud he is, and. But he's one of those guys, man. He's one of those guys.
And the first interception, complimentary football, you get the hit from Levi, and Trevor makes the pick. Those are 2 guys that are, playing larger roles because of injuries. You're seeing that across the board, aren't you?
Yeah, we had a lot of guys that are picking up slack, and they know that they're not just there to be a placeholder. Like they're there, they got an opportunity, and they, like we talk about all the time, you got to hold the line. It's your job, it's your time, and you can't be a liability. You can't be. So there's a ton of guys. What you talked about it. Nowowski, we brought in Al Muhammad. We had Isaiah. Germ had to go out and play a ton of defense, because Rodrigo hurt his ankle. So there's a ton of that everywhere. We talked about J-Mo being out, and look, we didn't miss a beat, And now some of that is because special teams, right? We never really even in the flow of an offense necessarily out in the field, but it was, you go 5 for 5 in the red zone, like I say, then you don't have to worry about it. So, but yeah, our guys are doing a good job of stepping up when they get an opportunity.
Sean, last one.
Dan, you've been saying for a while that you thought Gibbs was this close, getting out, getting free, and Montgomery also had some tough, productive running in the red zone. Can you sort of speak to the value on a day when you're not your sharpest, as you said, that you can still lean on that run game?
Yeah, it's it's bittersweet because you weren't at your best, and so there's a little bit of that empty feel, but on the positive side is what we talked about. Well, yeah, but when you have your special teams unit plays that well and is that productive, and then you do those little things, the red zone offensively, the takeaways defensively, well, you didn't need it. You didn't need to play your best there. You want to, and we should, but it's just another reminder, man, when we play, because we play with 3 units here, and when a couple of them are cooking at the right time, it can bail out one of your units. And when you get them all 3 playing at the right time, then I think you're very hard to beat. So, listen, I like where we're at. We're in a good place. It's win number 6. it's a perfect setup. We get to go to Lambeau this week. I'm already excited. I know the guys are. And so it was good. That's a good win.
How bad was Malcolm's ankle?
Yeah, we'll know more tomorrow. I mean, obviously he didn't finish the game, so that's not good. But I don't think it'll be something like, this is going to take the rest of the season. It's nothing like that.
Thanks, guys. We're not Jared.
All right, there we go. I missed my mute button on that. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to get the whole Everclear slushy slurp going in there. Can't help but drinking
We're
that
professionals at this podcast.
Can't help but drinking that Kool-Aid. No, this is just for those that are asking. It's called a shock treatment. It's a Honolulu Blue drink with a mix and Everclear, and it's absolutely fantastic. You get them at Wet Willie's, which is down in Mobile, where we first discovered those things. And I got Riz trapped on the wrong side of a parade, so he got stuck in the hotel for about 2 hours this year to pick up the mix. So thanks, Riz, for your sacrifice. All right. Oh man. Okay. Dan Campbell out. Well, good press conference there. You could tell he's got some real love for Leaf, man. My God.
Yeah. Well, it's this kind of guy. Like if you look across the threads of this team, it's the guys who did bounce around the league a little bit that he loves, and some guys who maybe they're not 6'4", 250 pounds. You know what I mean? Like he's wanted JRM on this team since the day he showed up. Sorry, one of my dogs has decided that they need to be on camera right now.
Hey, what's up, puppy?
Yep, that's Chili, everybody, being, super disruptive here. I don't even remember what I was saying, dude.
All right, that's cool. We can roll on. Shock trauma was my main bowling ball for a decade. There you go. They said Goff's going to go on, so we'll get Goff in here. I want to go through just a couple more stats before we're so rudely interrupted by Coach. We're hitting those. We have, let's see, we got the running game. Number one catcher was Laporta with 48. I needed 50, my friend. You've let me down. But I'll continue to talk about players who let me down this game. Kirby Joseph with an interception that wasn't a pick six. That was a good return had he pick six that. And I didn't get my return. Kirby, you got a little lazy there. I'm glad AG yelled at you. Silliness aside, I want to just talk about Kirby Joseph. There was a moment that was on TV for the folks watching the game today that I think you really, really need to take to heart and understand. Kirby's always out there clowning, man. He's having a great time talking. You see him after like training camp. He's talking to people. He's all just swagging, having a good time. But you saw him get yelled at after that touchdown on early in the game by AG. AG was all up his ass on that one. And then a little bit later, after he gets the interception, they go to the sideline, and Kirby's there talking to AG, and he's locked in. He's absolutely locked in talking to Coach. And this is something where you can tell the difference between kind of, a player and a player. He comes in, how seriously he took that, and when he was talking to Coach and how they were just all business, man, all business, no clowning, no messing around. He knows when to work and he knows when to play, and you could see it that he was absolutely 100% putting in the work. But I love that he could flip the switch and turn to play right away. That's good. That's good stuff, and that's a really, really good sign from Kirby. A fan fave, one of my faves as well. Him and Branch are such a great duo. But to see that kind of ethic as he's there with a coach, that's a really, really good sign.
Agreed. Like, that's all you can ask of a guy is when they make mistakes and they get coached hard, they don't curl up into the fetal position and die. You know what I mean? And we've had a lot of shrinking violets as it is on the Lions over the years. That's
very well said. I love it.
That's been a thing that has been an issue with a lot of our guys, and it is kind of rampant around the league. Like, there are a ton of guys out there that do not like getting coached hard. And that's why whenever we're doing any kind of pre-draft coverage, the first thing we need to figure out about a guy is this a person who can be a Detroit Lion? And that's not from a physical skill set perspective. That's a mentality, because they will figure out what to do with anybody they get a hold of that has any physical capability at all, if they're the right guy to be on this team. Like, let's look at what they're doing with Nowaski.
Yes.
I'll freely admit I did not watch 10 games of this man's college tape or any previous experience he has doing anything, but I suspect he has not spent a lot of time on the edge. you know, but
you know how
he's willing to go out there and do it, man. Like it's
you know
it
how
is
I
what it is.
knew
They need someone to do it, and he's a body on the team, and they got to put somebody in that position. And he's kind of thriving right now. Like, not every play. He's not an all-pro. He's not Max Crosby. He's not Trey Hendrickson. He's not these guys that we are absolutely not going to be able to trade for because no team is insane enough to get rid of a guy with that skill set. But he's in there doing a job. It's not the same job that we had an all-pro guy doing. Not a reasonable ask to try to get him to.
No,
He's out there. He's on the edge. They're still stopping the run. They're still a proficient defense. And last week he had a sack. This week he had a pick. And it was a ridiculous pick that had nothing to do with his skills other than just he was the guy standing where the ball got thrown and he made the play. But he did make the play. It's just like I have so much faith in these coaches sometimes that it just sort of disturbs me. But it has to be the person who will take the coaching. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Like we saw with not to harp on this, but like we saw for the first couple of years with Jamison Williams, where you got to listen or what they say doesn't matter.
And that's Holmes, man. That's Holmes making the guys that he grabs and he brings in and how he talks about how they love football and they love the game and their character. He brings in those guys that want to develop. I mean, he does the right kind of research. And it's funny because it's a different kind of thinking about how you pick your players than just about anybody else. I don't care about character. I want a guy that plays, he's a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. Or, he's a machine. He tears up an offensive line. He gets to the quarterback no matter what, right? Jalen Carter.
Well, Quins, there's only 2 or 3 linebackers in every draft that fit our size profile. Dude, fuck off. That's the wrong way to do this. Yeah.
But it's how everybody did it. And Holmes is like, I got good coaches. I will get a great player out of a good player as long as he cares. As long as he cares about the game. And that's what the Lions have been able to do is put together a group of people that care about the game, that care about each other, and a set of coaches that knows how to develop players into the best they can be. And then you put in freaking Albert Einstein. Let's go get Jared Goff in here really quick.
It was probably, I don't know if I've ever been a part of something like that, where we start with the ball in not only in plus territory, but in the red zone. I don't know how many times, 4 or 5 probably. And, we did our job and punched them in for touchdowns. And, that's what we were asked to do today and did that well. And, with that being said, we scored 52 and there's still like some, and I know that sounds like kind of hollow after scoring 52, but there are some things that we can do better on offense when we weren't down in that red area.
It seemed like every time that they
got the winged wheel on.
You guys immediately responded, whether it be a big return and Gibbs a 70-yarder. I guess just how impressed were you with your guys' ability to jump right back on him after every kind of small victory they had?
Yeah, we respond well. We knew that they'd come out fighting. We really did. I mean, they're a solid team, and they've played a lot of these games well early on. But we knew if we just kept staying on them, they would wear down eventually, and we're able to do that. And I think the stuff with Khalif is pretty remarkable. And when we're starting with the ball down there, and then Dorsey has the long return as well, we get interceptions taken down there. It's like, our job is to go another 30 yards. That's okay. We'll do that and score.
It would be a part of the game where 6 different guys scored a touchdown for you guys?
I don't think so. Yeah, no, that's another stat. Yeah, I don't think so.
Just speak to just the versatility we talk about all the time, but when 6 different guys score touchdowns for you, I mean, that's some weapons that you have.
Yeah, we do. We really do. I mean, you go right down the list. Obviously, we know everything about St. Brown, Laporta, and Gibbs and Montgomery. They score a ton, but like Khalif, obviously, he has the punt return and then, the touchdown offense, and it's just like, every week it's somebody new, and this week was his.
You've been here the whole way with him, when you were here when he came in. So I guess just how awesome is that to see Khalif have a game like this, stick through it?
Yeah, against his former team. Yeah. Pretty cool. He was our guest captain this week. We do that every week. He was the one this week, which is typically against your former team. Dan does that for those guys, and it was awesome. I mean, he's just been so close to breaking them through the whole year, it seems like, and today those guys were blocking well for him, and he's making those returns. He's as electric as it gets back there, and they kept kicking it to him, so he kept making them.
You mentioned they would come out fighting in the first couple of drives. I think they had 3 sacks. Was a little bit of a, we really are in for a game, and then it switched just like that with the returns?
Yeah.
Did you feel that way? That like it was going to be a...
We knew that, though. We knew they'd come out hot, and we were doing our best to match their intensity, and they got up on us early there on some of those sacks. That D-line is an impressive group, and did a good job there early, and then we settled in. And again, this game, games throughout the year, offense is winning the game, defense is winning the game, and then this game it was special teams, it seemed, and our defense with all the turnovers, and then we would punch it in. But full team effort. Again, it's hard to kind of put into words because I don't know if I've been a part of something like that, but it was absolutely a team effort, and the special teams kind of carried us.
Have you ever been a part of something where you had 3 touchdowns on 85 total yards?
Yeah, I'll take it. I've had a lot of games where I've had a whole lot of yards and not a lot of touchdowns, so those even themselves out.
172 points and 22 touchdowns the last 4 games. Just about this offense. That's just it seems pretty unstoppable at this point.
Yeah, each game's been different, right? Like, I don't think I can bunch them all into the same category. I think what we've done a good job, though, is getting in the red zone. We've scored touchdowns. We really have, and we always talk about getting that first down. If we can get that first down on offense on a drive, I think our numbers of getting it in the end zone are pretty high. So, focusing on that, starting off fast, starting off on that first down or second down or third down, converting, and then go from there. But we've been good in the red zone, and that typically leads to a lot of points.
You guys were favored by, 11 or 12, but in the NFL, that means very little generally.
Yeah.
You only see really good teams. I think that Baltimore beat Cleveland by a point or something.
I've lost a game favored by more than that, so yeah.
Yeah. So can you just talk about how important it is to win games that you are supposed to win when you are supposedly the better team?
Yeah, if we would have won by a point, we'd be just as happy. They all count the same at the end of the year, and yeah, so I don't know if we care how much we're supposed to win or not. And people saying, careful for a trap game. Like, we were ready to go. We were geared up, ready to go. And all week we were saying, we're going to be ready. And, they came out and fought us, and we had to fight back and blow it open there. And it was a good win.
Last one, Jeremy. What's your assessment of David Montgomery's pass?
That was a dart. That was an absolute dart. And his dance was good, too, after. And we've been cooking that one for maybe a couple of years now, too. And good moment for it. And Sam wasn't really like that open. He was open, but that had to be a good throw. And that was an absolutely well-thrown ball.
You nervous at this point? There are so many guys on the team that can...
I know, we're just throwing. I know, I got to be careful. But no, that was a great throw by David.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there we go. That's what I was saying. We got plenty of quarterbacks on the team. Maybe Goff's ankle, we could just let him sit. No?
Yep. We got St. Brown. We got Montgomery. We got Fox.
What the fuck?
There's no shortage of former quarterbacks on this team.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And boy, I mean, you look at how they open up the playbook and don't care about opening up the playbook.
Yep.
Because you've got to think, like, the entire playbook is basically open now to Demo and to St. Brown as well as to Goff. It's bananas. It's absolutely bananas what these guys can do. And with the magician, the Einstein-haired crazy man, Ben Johnson, as the mad scientist behind that offense, is freaking fantastic. I'm going to open up the phone lines.
Never find an organization he's happy with as a head coach.
Yeah, oh gosh, yes, yeah. May he never consider the idea of head coaching, because he could go somewhere and not be happy as a head coach. Let's just say, let's not even consider
100%.
that career path.
That's the most often, that's almost the guaranteed outcome of becoming a head coach, is getting fired within 2.5 years.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into the phone calls. Hey caller, what's your name and how much have you had to drink? Hopefully it's less than 52 points.
It's Doc Zay, fellas.
What's up, Doc
What's up, man?
You here for the comeback?
What's up,
this man has some very important information to pass on to us today.
Oh, absolutely. I had the sauce. I ordered KFC. Listen, this sauce takes your taste buds on a journey that feels like it was stolen from one of Dan Campbell's motivational speeches. It's like if a touchdown and a spicy smackdown had a love child. you dunk a tender into it, and it's like, bam, you just hit with flavors that say, like, we're not just here to play. We're here to motherfucking win. Only to be reminded that you're sitting on your couch 3 bites in, debating if you've just found the condiment equivalent of a Khalif Raymond punt return touchdown.
This is,
If
don't know.
If the comeback sauce were a player, it'd be a fusion of J-Mo's speed and Monty's power.
I don't know if a Slack meme has ever come this alive in my life.
Nope.
Zay.
It has not. Man, okay, so the backstory for this, just for those who are not, do not have the privilege of being in the Slack, Doc was asking in the first quarter if anyone had tried this sauce. And our whole Slack chat came up empty. This is a fast food condiment that none of us had tried. And he was like, all right,
Can I add really quick?
And I was like, okay, but don't tell us if it's good.
Let me add one piece of context. I'm sorry, Ash. Ash's comment here was, let me know because my wife's out of town this week and I'm going to be eating poorly.
That is true. I forgot I had said that. But yep.
Go ahead, sorry.
So, and then, and he was like, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'll let you guys know. And I was like, don't let us know in the Slack. Please, Doc. Call into the post-game show and tell us there how this sauce is. So the man has delivered in a way that was requested. Thank you very much, sir. This will be the best call of the day. I don't think we should take any more.
Fuck yeah. But I'm glad I could be there for you all. As for the game, listen, we got to fire everybody. All right. Ben Johnson scored way too fast. What the fuck is Aaron Glenn supposed to do? Dave Phipp scoring way too fast, giving the offense too short of a field. He's got to go. Brad Holmes has yet to trade a 7th-round pick for Max Crosby. He's got to go. Fire everybody.
So, dude, I think people are mistaken when they saw AG yelling at Kirby. It wasn't because he was mad at Kirby. He was telling him what to say to Ben Johnson about fucking scoring so fast. He's like, go give that motherfucker a rash of shit for me because I got to coach a fucking defense again. God damn this guy.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I was saying in the middle of the first quarter, I was like, man, this defense is going to be gassed by halftime. And then very rapidly, I was like, okay, I may have given them too much credit for how long it was going to take to gas the defense because it was just rapid fire, man. Like they were getting literally 30-second breaks between drives. It's a miracle they did as well as they did today. Like they don't usually get it back together after a period like that.
Hey, Zay, can I hit you with a stat?
Oh, go ahead.
All right, sorry. This came from Lion Eyes. I think this is a good one. Came up in the Slack. The 55 Bears and 48 Giants are the only other teams that throw less than 100 and score over 50. No teams in the Super Bowl era have done that. Zay, tell me about the mindset of a man who can score 52 points and throw 80-some yards.
See, listen, I'm one of the world's best psychiatrists. We all know this. We need to debate
100%,
it.
100%.
To put up that many points with that few yards, you've been through a lot of shit. Trauma is your middle name at this point. Mm-hmm. You don't know your birth parents. You've been through a lot.
So horrible.
Or if you did know them, they were terrible, and then they've ruined you as a human.
Oh man, I've had too much to drink to do this.
I got you, brother.
I would say, sir, you have had the perfect amount to drink to do this. Thank you for calling.
Perfect. Before I go, I got to say, rest in peace, silver pants. I don't think we will ever wear those again.
Yes. I can tell you, the comeback sauce, you know where they get that? Well, they get my comeback sauce off of Matt LaFleur's mom's tongue, but that's how it goes. All right, we will we will talk to you later, my friend.
Hey, y'all take care.
Yes, sir.
Love you, Zay. Thank you, brother.
Oh, fuck the Packers, too. Yeah. Can't forget that.
Got you, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
Never forget that.
Zay. Let's get this one on the horn here. We're starting off fire. This is really good.
Yeah.
If you're going to be on there, which you're going to be very shortly, turn down the background noise. Hey, caller, what's your name? How you feel about 52 big ones? Oops.
I called you last
52
year.
little ones. Hey, there we go.
Hey, caller, how you feel about them 52 big ones?
Great.
I think you need to turn it down in the background, man. It's getting a little confusing.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback here.
Yep, I got it. There we go.
There you go. How you doing, man?
All right.
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. What do you got for us?
Oh, what's this happening where Dan Campbell, when he first did his press conference, he's done exactly what he said, run the ball, all three phases, and they wanted to run him out of town right away. Isn't that something?
It's him and Goff, right? These guys were terrible. Goff couldn't even throw 90 yards today. Get rid of him. Everyone was right. Why didn't we draft Malik? What's going on?
I know. I think really, if you look at it, Goff was probably the best trade we had because we didn't have to go for another quarterback in the draft and develop one.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
That was always the best case scenario. Yeah, 100%. And like there were guys in our Slack chat that like I think are probably mad that the Lions won today just because of these stats. And luckily, like those people end up leaving the Slack chat. When you say ridiculous things like that, people tend to challenge you on it. And then if you know, the sort of person who takes that personally, eventually you leave. You know, but yeah, man, like it's the way that they won this game is the way they said they were going to win games. You're absolutely right, dude.
And they got to keep on. I mean, it's sort of funny when I was listening to you guys in the second game, everybody was down on them. I said, it's just the beginning of the season. They don't start playing football until the fourth, fifth game.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, the first game is absolutely just a toss-up.
Chaos.
The second game is barely controlled chaos, and then they start finding kind of a grind. It's with that shortened preseason, it makes it really, really tough. And it screws up the early part of the season, which for a couple of teams will mess up their playoffs, right? It will genuinely mess up what their playoff looks are like. And when you're about to this point of the season, it creates, if you were to take 2 losses early that you shouldn't have taken because of your team, it can really create a completely different vibe around what you are as a football team with your fans, even with your coaches, because you're looking at the stat line, right? That key number line. And sometimes people start making bad choices because of it. It's bananas, but this is a focused team that's put together well. The players, the front office, the coaching staff. I mean, all the way. I mean, everybody on this team. I was talking to some of the folks in the back office side of the team just this morning, and I mean, they are top to bottom an organization that is attached to one another. There's no person who's too small or too big in the entirety of this organization, and it's really well put together. A lot of credit to Brad Holmes to what he did, particularly after taking over that GM role from what's his face Quinn and Sheila. Her ability to really get a grip on this. I mean,
guy,
man. I mean, you got Spielman, you got Sheila. You got Rod Wood making football decisions and all the other stuff that's going on. I mean, it's pretty fantastic how they've been able to build this organization.
I remember when they were crying that Sheila was putting an office in the complex, and it's like, oh, she's going to start making decisions. They're laughing,
All right, brother. Hey, we're going to bounce.
I like having an owner.
All right. Thank you, brother. Go ahead, Ash.
Thanks, sir. I like having an owner that is as involved as she is, but not more involved.
Yeah.
She is as involved as she is qualified to be. You know what I mean? She wants to know what's happening with this multi-billion-dollar thing she owns, because of course she could. It's the most valuable thing she will ever own. There's some teams in the league where the owner seems to actually not care, and that's not good. Like, you also don't want the David Tepper throwing things at fans and visiting stadiums things, but
Jerry Jones, right?
Yeah, where he's way too involved, actually making football decisions, or his kids are at this point. We're not sure exactly what's happening, but yeah, like this is everything about the way this works is how things are supposed to work.
There you go. 222 Rodwood Drive is freshly repaved. Caller, what's your name? How do you like taking 52 big ones today?
This is Jack.
Jack,
I like 52 big ones pretty pretty hard, I guess. This is also the guy who's going to call you walking out of Lambeau next week with the W.
All right. I love it,
beautiful.
Jack. That's awesome. I appreciate you stepping up to do that, man. I love the man on the street stuff. And I hope you have a couple of beers, choke down a brat, right? Get another big one in there and then give us a full report.
Yeah, I got to. I've had about 8.5, 9 Coors Lights at this point. So it's been a good afternoon.
Nice.
So you've had 3 drinks.
I think I got 2. Go ahead.
Ash said, so you've had 3 drinks.
I was just making fun of your beer. Yeah. Sorry. That's just a reflex from that's what my dad drinks. I always give him crap for it. Of course, I'm sitting here drinking Diet Cokes. So,
Ash
feel free to fire back.
Sorry, Jack. Ash's dad issues got projected onto you.
Yeah.
All right.
All good, bro.
What do you got for us, brother? Sorry about that, Jack.
I got 2. I'm going to be on 2 opposite ends of the spectrum today. I think for the first time in a long time, we are on the winning end of a game like this. If you've been a fan for 15 to 20 plus years, I was with my wife today. I'm like, damn, I'm staying here. I'm watching every second of this victory just to see us take it to a team this hard. That's probably happened. I can count on one hand how many times that's happened in my lifetime. So that was awesome. That's taken away. I think on the other side of things, I'm a long time listener, maybe second or third time caller. I think after this, I think it's clear we need some sort of pass rusher here to go all the way. I'll leave you with this. I'm also a Cubs fan, so I'm a pathetic creature when I've been a lifelong Cubs fan and a lifelong Lions fan. I haven't had much to cheer about except for relatively recently.
You love an underdog. I got you.
I do love an underdog. I couldn't have cheered for 2 teams more than identified as an underdog. But when the Cubs finally had a chance to go all in, they traded their prospects and they went in and they won, right? And I think, I'm not saying we trade 2 first to get Crosby or a Garrett, but there's clearly a hole there if you want to go all the way. And man, this type of thing doesn't come around really ever for many teams. So I think, in my mind, I don't want to end up being the Brewers of the NFL. Honestly, I don't want to be the Packers of the last 15 years of the NFL, never going in to try to be that team that goes all the way. I think we need to trade something to get some sort of pass rusher, whether it's a Zadarius Smith, just something to be able to take that next level, because this team, as crazy as it fucking is, we're the best team in the NFL right now. I don't think there's a doubt about it. But I think when it comes to beating that San Francisco 49ers, that Kansas City Chiefs, you're going to need somebody who's going to be able to take on 1 or 2 guys and get to the quarterback. And we don't have that right now. And I think this is a very, very rare opportunity. It's also the first time I've ever trusted in the GM, probably since Theo Epstein, of any sport in my life. So I trust in Brett Holmes to get it done, but I think we need a pass rusher. That is my take. I'm curious on what you guys have to say about that.
Well, they find the right kind of pass rusher for the right price. I'm with Campbell.
Welcome to Detroit.
Let's do it. Ash?
Absolutely. And I'd say the right price, it depends on what pass rusher that is. If you tell me they throw a 6th out there for Arden Key, all right, let's roll. If they throw 2 first-round picks and 2 3-day or day 3 picks for a Max Crosby, great, let's do that. You know what I mean? It's depends on who they get, what I want them to pay for it. But in terms of it's hard to look at the defense and say they don't need a pass rusher with a straight face, because they would very obviously be better if they had one. And I've always been a big fan of Howie Roseman of the Eagles, because his take on it is you should do everything you could do every second to win every game. That's what he wants. And he fired a coach for not doing that in the 4th quarter for draft position at the end of a season. You know what I mean? That's a guy who had been to the Super Bowl 2 seasons prior, decided to lose a game so that they would have a better draft pick for him the next year, and he didn't get to see the seeds of that draft pick. I've always been a fan of that, and I would like to see them do something. And what it is, just we don't know what's actually out there. We don't know anything in terms of what options they really have, because nobody wants to trade pass rushers That's the problem with trying to trade for a pass rusher is that's thing one you need when you're rebuilding a bad team is the pass rush. So that's the last thing they're going to want to get rid of at the trade deadline. Also because the trade deadline's so early in the NFL that if you trade a good guy and you lose 7 straight games, you are absolutely not going to have a job the next year. That's just the nature of the NFL. They give guys 3 years tops to win some games, and taking a step back by getting rid of a premier player like that, like you might not be there to make that second first-round draft pick if you trade Crosby as the GM of the Raiders right now. In fact, I would say you almost assuredly are not going to be there when that second first-round pick gets made. So why would you do that? Because your only way to hold the job is to have a miracle second half of the year where you win 6 games, then maybe you're employed again next year. But if you giving someone else those 2 first-round picks doesn't help you, unless it's Dallas.
I think I would love to see the Dan Campbell mentality out of Brad Holmes. I know they're so similar. Push the chips in the middle. Fuck it. Let's just do it. And I don't mean like all the first-round picks in the world, but I mean if we could get somebody for a second and a 2026 fourth, let's fucking do it, man. I mean, how long have all of us been waiting for this? Who knows what's going to happen next year? The core is so strong. It's so solid. But as we saw this year, I mean, you never know what can happen injury-wise. You never know what can happen with the rest of the big conference, the league. Again, I'm not the guy pounding the table saying, let's get Max Crosby. But, I mean, if we have to throw out a second-round pick to get the guy, let's fucking do it. Let's go. Push the chips in the middle on our own 20 and let's do it.
This is the thing, and this is where the argument really kind of sits, right? And it's the same play. Dan Campbell does the fake punt from the 20. He's a loser when it fails, and he's an absolute superstar when it wins. It's the same play. And that's what's going on right now. And this is gambling the entirety of the franchise on that one play. And I don't want to say the entirety of the franchise, but depending what yeah. No, I'm with you.
Rounder, like I'm not the guy. I'm not the no offense to anybody else. I'm not the loser calling in here saying we trade 3 firsts for Max Crosby. But I am saying if we can get that guy, like a Trey Hendrickson who demanded a trade earlier this year with the second and the third, like, you know, why not? I mean, does this team have that many holes that those types of picks are going to fill? I don't think so. I'm open to the other idea too, but I think like you don't want to be sitting there watching the team that goes to the Super Bowl from the NFC being like shit.
Yep.
That should have been us.
Peaceful Tim has a great Peaceful Tim in the chat has a great one here. You don't trade for anybody equal or less than Pascal. That makes 0 sense. And I think that's absolutely right because Pascal is your backup. Next year, Hutch is back, right? So you want somebody that's and I mean Pascal's a starter right now when he's healthy, right? But you want somebody that's at least that, especially if you're putting capital down the line and and paying for this person for a while. You want somebody that's at least that good right now. So I like that, Peaceful Tim.
Right.
Man, I'm looking forward to hearing from you next year or next week. And hopefully it's
next week. I might be not as coherent.
That's okay. That's
Hopefully
okay.
You're open to that.
I'm living it, brother. Open to it.
That's what the show is built on, my friend.
I know. I've been listening for 5 years now.
Dang. Thank you. Appreciate that. But now I want just my whole thing. Don't put yourself in danger. And it's usually like that first quarter, second quarter is a pretty good time to kind of watch your surroundings and get used to it. But when you can, be that insufferable prick of a fan if we come out on top of this game. And again, don't get yourself hurt. But this is the look. If you look at what the team did to the Tennessee Titans today, or what they did to the Dallas Cowboys, they bullied the shit out of them. This is bully ball. This is a team that's gotten beat up, humiliated, kicked when they're down for years and years and years. And I've talked about it. We're the least hated team in the NFL right now. We are going to be, no matter what we do, we're going to be the most or one of the top 10 hated teams by next year if we win the Super Bowl. The year after we win the Super Bowl, we'll probably even be the top 5 of the most hated teams. Earn it. This is when you have all the capital to be able to earn it. Be an insufferable bastard to those Packers fans because we've dealt with them. I've been to so many games where Packers fans came to Ford Field, and I just wanted to be that guy, but don't get yourself hurt.
Well, I cheer for some Chicago teams, like I said. So I get that mold. I can be that guy. And trust me, I will be that guy this weekend.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
All
Take
right.
care.
See you. All right. There you go. We'll keep going. Phones are banging today. Just like we like it. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink thus far? Also, you can answer that question.
From the creek, man. What's going on?
Mo, you're probably one of the only guys out there that knows what it's like to put 52 big ones on someone, huh?
So many ways I could take that.
Take every one of them, and the dirtiest one is the one I mean.
Yep.
Hey, man, you know, the only thing about sucking as a winner is I can't get through to the doggone lines. And when we was 1-6, I was getting through on the first ring. Now I can't even get through y'all ass.
I'm sorry. I need the Mo line. I need the Mo line. Damn it.
Yes, you do. Big red phone, big blue phone, Honolulu blue phone. And that's my phone.
The Mo phone.
Shaped like a toaster. The Mo be shaped like a toaster.
Is it the Mo phone or the Mofo phone?
Or the creek line.
Silly. Yeah, great freaking win today.
Oh God, it was good. It's a weird one though. Like for a long time, right? I've wanted to we did it with the Cowboys, but we had some other things going on in that game that hurt. This game, we just freaking put it balls deep into the other team, but it wasn't like how I know how to enjoy and cheer that kind of a thing, right? It's like, I feel like every time it's like, yes, we absolutely murdered them, but it wasn't kind of like, I don't want to say it is satisfying, but it's not as satisfying as like look at them in the eye while you're banging their girl from behind kind of domination. You know what I mean? It wasn't that, but we still did it. So I don't know.
Are you calling the Tennessee Titans a bunch of cucks? What's going on here?
Well, I guess
I didn't realize that was terminology we were using on this show.
I guess I've been found out, Mo. Jeez.
Yep.
And this episode is sponsored by
Noir Leather and Royal Oak. I don't know if they're still around. I wonder if they are. I gotta look them up actually now. I'm curious. Those are good times.
And this is
I'm not doing reads of their products.
Freaking drink that you drinking, Chris.
The drink, yeah, they're still alive. Oh my God, I love it. You got to be over 18. Let's see. Noir Leather. That's my home. It's called Shock Treatment, and it's from Wet Willie's, and you can order the mix. It's basically Everclear mixed in ice, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Where do you get the blue color from?
It's in the mix. It's the Wet Willie's mix. They have one that's so the drink I usually get, it's the two most power, of course, right? The two most high octane drinks they've got like 32 daiquiri drinks all lined up of all different flavors and styles, and they have a mix of one that's called Call a Cab and the other is called Shock Treatment, and Shock Treatment's the one I was drinking here. It's blue, and they mix the two. It's red and blue, and they call it Superman because it's like those same kind of colors. I'll have like two of those, and I'm just rolling through Mobile, man. It's a good time at Senior Bowl. People don't know.
That was great. That was a great advertisement too. When freaking Dan Campbell was at his press conference, and all we hear is.
I thought I muted it.
No, sir, you did not.
Like, what the hell is that?
As for you, Mo, every time, I mean, like, let's talk about it. When there was like 6-win teams and you would call in, all we heard was the gurgling of a bong on the other end of the line.
I was like, damn.
Back in the day.
I was like, damn, it's some reporting. It's a reporter in there, like, really thirsty. I was like, damn.
Oh man! Hey Mo, let me ask you.
Rodgers really fell off since he went indie. God does not give a fuck anymore.
Hey, Mo, let me ask you a football question because we're supposed to be talking football.
Right.
Terrion Arnold, right? One of the things I've said for a long time about cornerbacks is you don't see what you got till like year 3, right? Because going from college to the NFL is a hell of a leap. My guy has started every game this year. A couple penalties, I get that, but he's handsy. What do you think? What's your take on Terrion so far?
I think he's coming around. I couldn't stand the groping and the pass interference. So I think he's got some good coaching going on. I think he's coming around, man. I think we're gonna pan out with him. He's really good. It was kind of shaky for a minute because I was like, that's why I called him Terrion Me Too Arnold, because he kept groping the players.
he grabbed him by the pads.
Yeah, they sent him to HR. He got his sexual harassment training done. He's allowed to come back to work now.
When you're a famous cornerback, you can just grab him by the pads. They like it.
But he's good. He dope. He's getting some good coaching. It looks like they working with him, and they had to talk to him a little bit. But I think we got a good one. Let Brad cook, baby.
That's right. Flounder, thank you for the super chat. And he's right. Who wouldn't be thirsty looking at Dan Campbell?
Detroit Lions Podcast After Dark.
Sponsored by Noir Leather.
And hymns.
Let me do the old...
Your dick not work?
God, what was that guy?
Have some pills.
The guy that did Pillow Talk. He'd be like, we have a shout out to a long-distance midnight dedication to a woman who is loved by Terrion Arnold. Her name is Mason.
Cut the check right now. Cut the check.
I've been missing your touch.
Detroit Lions Podcast plus edibles, baby. You can't nothing like it.
Oh man, I would love to do DLP edibles. I would love to do DLP eddies.
There's got to be somewhere you can do that branded. Like there has to be a way to get that done.
Calvin, call me.
Right.
Call me Calvin.
Yeah. I was gonna say if there isn't, we just had $1 million idea, and we need to get rolling on that ASAP.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, for sure. Like if you got a hook here, we got a way to move. Delta 8 is more than a Delta flight number, right?
Yep.
All right. Hey Mo, thank you for calling in again, man.
For that.
You make me so happy every time I talk to you.
Always, man. Lions Nation is dope as hell. DLP dope as hell. Let's enjoy this 6-1 since 1957.
I want to give a shout out really quick to you and all my buds in Atlanta. In mid-November, there's something going on. I'll talk about it in a little bit. I just want to make sure I get the date right and it's not been called off. But one of our boys, Q, is actually going to be in a fight. I'd love to get the crew together and go show up and support him in his fight. He's a good boxing, he's a great dude. Great dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, some local punching. Be fun to see. So
yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah. All right, Mo. Be good, brother. Love you, okay?
All right. Love y'all too, man.
We'll talk to you. Peace out. All right, Mo from the Creek. I love my people. Hey, caller, what's your name? How's it feel to have 52?
It's John from Texas again, and it feels amazing.
Now, what do you have 52 of?
I mean, at this point, we're going to end up with 52 interceptions.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Oh, it's got to feel good. So what do you think, man? I mean, we walk out of this Lions game. It was a weird kind of sense, but we walk out, we stomp the team. Where do we go from here? What's next? What did you like about this game? Throw it all at me.
I like that, again, we're sucking in balls like my baby mama, like a Minnesota MILF. We keep turning the ball over. That's how we win games.
It's fantastic. Kirby out there disappointing me without the interception was fine, but he didn't get the 6, cost me some money on that one. There's areas to work on, right? There's areas for improvement for this team.
And the thing
not
is,
enough
we're still
defensive
getting better.
touchdowns.
We're already the best team. We're still getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ash has got it. Not enough defensive touchdowns. AG.
Yeah,
I'm on the fire AG bandwagon. If he can't turn in more defensive touchdowns, we might be having to have a talk. This is unacceptable.
Like I will say, so many people have been calling this a trap game, and I've been saying it all week. When you're a team this good, there's no such thing as a trap game. You just win those games.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
And they did. And I feel like it's hard to find yourself in a trap game when you have Dan Campbell as a coach. And if you do, I feel like it's Dan Campbell that was the one that fell into the trap. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to allow a team to kind of sit back idly and take a team like Tennessee for granted, which he obviously didn't, right? Because they definitely pulled this one together. But I just don't think that he's going to let a team Lorax their way to victory. Even like when you think about if we've got the first seed wrapped up in week 16, we're playing our starters for the rest of the season, right? He's not going to rest those guys. It's just not who he is. It's not how he approaches the game.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna push. We're gonna drive. That's what today showed, that we're just going to keep our foot on the gas.
Yeah, 100%. And that, again, is something we haven't done as a team. And that's pretty, for a lot of seasons and a lot of different regimes. And it's cost us games. And I see like like Chris Christie. I saw some other dope on Twitter today. It was posted in the Slack crying about, the Lions are running up on other people. Yeah, we are. And we will continue to do that as long as we can. Mm-hmm. We'll never ever stop. So just don't expect it, right? There's no mercy rule. That we've been on the other side of this 7 ways from Sunday for 60 some years, 70 years, whatever it's been. We're not. No. We are full speed 100% of the time, and we're going to beat some ass. And I'll say it again.
I will beat your ass.
I will what? Oh, I couldn't do it that fast. It doesn't go that fast. Damn it. That hurts.
These nuts.
Anyway, that's what this team is all about. And they're going to put some people in the dirt, and there's going to be some hurt feelings. And I think there's probably a couple people out there that still underestimate who the Lions are. And those are the ones that are going to cry the hardest when they get beat down.
And next week, we're going to walk into Green Bay. We're going to show them who we are again. We're going to bite a kneecap, kick them in the nuts. That's probably why Love stayed out, because they got to save his groin for next week when we kick him in the nuts.
And the Minnesota baby mama, will she be there?
She won't. She got to work, but
who's gonna be sucking up balls then?
I think we got it covered. I think our defense. Nowoski came out of nowhere with
make the man out himself,
and that was just ball.
Yeah. Nowoski is
that was heads of ball.
What a great story this cat is, right? And I should have known because Riz was what's his name? Riz was cheering for him, but was like, boy, he's not doing it. He's not it. And I should have known that Nowoski was going to come around and be the guy. He's done now 2 weeks in a row. He's had himself a really, really nice big play and played really solid. He's not Hutch, but man, I am glad he is there, and he's one of our backups because he's showing really, really good, showing out really, really well.
He's not Hutch, but he's got the heart. He's giving it everything he's got. He plays because he wants to be out there. Yeah.
Woo! Okay. I'll tell you what, brother, we're going to let you go. We're going to get a couple other calls. We're going to keep it rolling here as we get closer and closer to another Victory Monday and a great week of tearful NFL fans watching the ascendance of these Detroit Lions.
All right. Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you too, brother. We'll see you. All right. Rock that out. They keep coming, and so do I. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hi, it's Big Wes from the Slack chat calling in. That was a weird game. and I've had a lot to drink.
I'm excited for this one. Wes, man, that's I can't look at those stats and explain the game. We'll start there.
It's bizarre. Like 85 yards passing and we score 52 points. How do you explain that?
I don't. I Special can't. Teams and defense, baby.
That's
it.
What
Just turnovers and great kick returns.
Football. It's basically that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you, Wes. Should we do a post-game show next week?
You have to do a post-game show.
I don't know. I mean, we could probably use a week off somewhere along the way, right?
Yeah, but we'll lose then.
That's probably fair. Uh-oh. I think I lost Ash with that idea. Yep. No, you're right. So we'll do a post-game show next week. I think there's probably a time along the way where we're not going to be able to, but it's not going to be because we planned a show and then the team lost. That's not going to be what it is. Right? We won't cancel a show because the team didn't win, because we know it's us doing these shows that helps entice this team to win. So we will be there forever. Wes, what are you looking for next week against the Packers?
I'm looking for a pass rusher before the game. That's what I'm looking for.
Do you think? But with this is, I'm starting to think about this. Depending on Jordan Love's injury, he may not be very mobile. Right? Let's say Love doesn't play next week and we play Malik and he is mobile. I kind of think the not having a pass rush and playing that kind of contain helps us against a guy like Malik more than the kind of overly aggressive rush. What do you think?
Well, that's true for this week, but I mean, but for the rest of the season, we can't keep winning with a pass rush like this. It wasn't good. We made Mason Rudolph look like Joe Montana for a while there in the first half. It's just not good.
Had two good drives.
Yeah. I'm feeling it. Like I get what your feels. I get where you're coming from. I'm not sure I agree. I think the sorry, Mike Landry, he'll be downgraded to Jordan Lust from Jordan Love. They're all professionals on the other team, and they had 2 drives and they got 14 points, and that's that. But we've seen this game. We saw the game against Minnesota. I mean, we've seen a team. We got more sacks. I'll say this again. It's a weird stat. We got more sacks without Hutch in the Dallas game than we did with him. I'm not, and I don't even want to like put this idea in anyone's head that we're better without him, because that's not the case, right? But
no,
we're just different, and we have to we scheme that front 7 differently without him. And I don't think the drop off when you take 7 players into a system, I don't think it's as great as people are worried about. I don't know. And look, of course it's great to have him, and he does so much for the team, but I'm not broken about where this team is. They've won every game without him, and they've played well without him. We need somebody who could put some edge pressure on, for sure. We need to find somebody, but I don't want to risk the future for right now in a way that won't make a real difference for this team. And Ash, give me some nuance. Put some nuance to what I'm saying, or say, Chris, you ignorant slut, and give your opinion, or both.
Well, Chris, you ignorant slut, here is some nuance to what you were saying. I'll give you both. Best of both worlds. The thing is, I don't want him to trade for anybody who wouldn't have had a shot at starting week 1. Because if they're not good, why give up any resources for them? Like, just whether we have the 32nd best pass rush in the league or the 26th best pass rush in the league isn't really a difference that has any meaningful result in the end. So like a lot of these guys that they could go out and get for, a 6th or 7th round pick, like they're not good. And if they're not good, we already have guys who are not good. We got plenty of that. Like bringing in like a mid-tier guy who would be like a 6-sack guy if he played 100% of the snaps. I don't even want that guy anywhere near this team. Like I don't want anybody mediocre. Like if they're going to make a move, I would like them to make a move for a guy who would have been able to actually play meaningful snaps, even if we didn't have any injuries. And I'm not just focusing on, the top tier, because our second pass rusher was someone who couldn't find a job right away in free agency and ended up signing a 1-year contract. You know what I mean? And he ended up being pretty good across there. But like somebody, I think Pascal is the line. If you can't get more out of a guy you're trading for than you're getting out of Josh Pascal, there's really no point in giving up future assets to bring that guy in. Any future assets, even worthless things like 6th or 7th round draft picks, which in my opinion have almost no value. I think a 1-year rental of a guy who's not very good has even less value than that, if that makes sense.
Well, I agree to a point, but I don't know. At least we could bring in somebody as good as like Davenport for like a day 2 pick. What do you think of that?
I don't think any team's going to trade that guy. Like if he's
Zadarius
there, sure.
Smith is that guy,
but,
I think. I don't know. Zadarius Smith for a 4th round pick.
Yeah, I would do that, but I don't think Cleveland will. Like that's the thing. Like the other team has to want to get rid of the guy for whatever reason they want to, and he has to be a mental fit. And yeah, like Zadarius Smith fits a lot of the things we need, but he's also, if I recall from his measurables, he's about the same size as James Houston, and it's really not.
How about Dietrich Wise for a 6th round pick?
I don't think he's better than Josh Pascal. Like I don't see an actual improvement in quality.
I know, but he can play on the other side of Josh, and then we'll have 2 guys as good as Josh Pascal. Is my point.
Yeah, and my point is you're giving up future assets for a marginal increase at best. Like if it gets 13% better than it is right now, I don't want them to do that.
I would throw a 6th round pick at it because you got depth. And that's the one thing that that hurts the most right now is the depth at that position. If we continue seeing these injuries, it could hurt. 6th round, I don't want to say it's a throwaway, but I can.
It's close.
Yeah. So
it's a 25% chance to have a guy on the roster 3 years later. That's what a 6th round pick is.
Yeah, 100%.
True for the future, but I mean, if we get to the Super Bowl and lose because we didn't make a trade, I'll feel terrible.
But I don't think it's ever going to be that clear cut. I think you're going to find people that argue it, and that's what sports talk is all about. The manufactured arguments when there isn't a good one to be had. But but the idea is you're going to go, and then there's a bunch of people that say, "See, it's because we didn't trade the whole future for Max Crosby," and they're going to make it as if that was a like. People were having that conversation about Goff. Goff was a throw-in. We had to take in the salary cap. Like they make these narratives up out of whole cloth, and then it's the discussion point. It's just, I mean, I'm tired, bro, about that. So it's not going to be.
We gave up a 4th for Donovan Peoples-Jones. We could at least give up a 4th for something.
We
could give up a 4th.
I think we could find something good for a 4th, something that's acceptable and helpful. But it's got to be if I want a 4th. I mean, oh God, I wish I had my drafts in front of me. I have old drafts on my other deck that I use kind of in the background on this thing. I'm trying to think. We've gotten some really good players in the 4th, and I don't want a 1-year rental for that. So I don't know. We'll see. Whatever happens, here's where I land. If Brad Holmes makes the decision, I might even question it at first. But I know I'm going to feel good about it in the end. And that's kind of where it all ends up. He's done things that I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, oh. So I seed my intelligence as below the level of what Brad Holmes is going to do. And I will ride with Brad until we die.
Yeah, if the deal's there, he'll make it. If it's not, he won't.
I mean, we got to do something.
Whatever we do or don't do,
I'd rather they do nothing than something bad.
Isaiah Thomas was
something
free.
For the sake of something never makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, for those of you who think I never admit that I'm wrong about anything, I was off on Zadarius Smith's size by about 35 pounds and 3 inches of height. I was thinking of someone else I was looking at before the game.
The other's a Darius
Smith is a big man. I was wrong.
All right, Wes, we're going to let you go, brother. We're going to hit a couple other callers here, all right?
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks you, brother. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, Wes from the Slack. Oh, man, Ash, it's something.
Yes.
This trade talk is one of the biggest conversations, and it's gonna go even after this year. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
If the Lions win the Super Bowl,
perpetual,
or they don't, the conversation about needing this trade or not needing this trade is going to go on forever. And
and the thing is, I don't ever want the Lions to give up huge value at the trade deadline unless they are immediately signing that guy for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
In that case, give up the draft picks, give up whatever you want. If this guy's a part of the future, or like one of the reasons everyone keeps talking about Crosby is because he has 3 years left on his deal or whatever it is. So like something like that, sure. You know what I mean? But not just for this year for someone who sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my kind of take on it. Like I just don't want a bad trade.
I'm with you. Hey, caller, what's your name? And what would you do if you had 52?
I would hope that I would not have as many children. I don't know. Or
wow, you went to a scary spot.
Unfortunate donations.
We're doing well. How you doing, brother?
What's up, guys?
I didn't mean to set you up with a tough question.
I'm good. This is Brad out in California way with internet.
Hey, Brad, how you doing? How's life in CA, man?
Pretty good.
Are you SoCal or NorCal? Where are we at here? I need to know the vibe.
I was in Oakland, and now I moved up in Vallejo.
Okay, cool.
Vallejo. Yeah.
Vallejo. All right, we got you. We got the vibe. So you're high as hell.
Well, it's a nice day. I'm gearing up for Halloween, so I'm happy that we're not sweating over here.
There you go.
But hey, yeah, it's good to talk with you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. But I know we've touched about this a lot in the past. About how the Lions play to their opponent's level, and I got to tell you, I was a little nervous, in the beginning of the game, but I had to, have faith. And of course they pulled out.
Dude, that's so good though. Like
sorry.
No. That's such a good assessment, because in that first quarter, no doubt, whatever. But you're right. I without being able to articulate it, that's what was going through my mind and my heart. Like, oh God, we're going to play at the level of Titans. This is where it gets scary. This is what this team does. Oh my God. Like, that's where the fear is. That's where people call it SOL, but I think it really is about this idea of playing to the opponent's level for years. I mean, we'd play great teams really well and just lose. We'd play terrible teams really terrible and just barely lose, right? It was always that. And it was like, ooh, this first quarter feels it smells kind of familiar and disgusting, but it wasn't that. That's a good point, man. It's really, really good. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm glad that we overcame that and we don't have to worry about that. They actually, they put my mind at ease and they pulled through like I expected them to. So it feels good to be a Lions fan right now.
Yeah, it does. This is a good ride.
Absolutely.
What do you think? What do you think about the Packers? The look ahead.
I don't know. I don't know what the situation is with Jordan Lust, but we'll see. I mean, we should handle them pretty easily, in my opinion. I feel like we are the best team in the league.
Yeah, I get it. I agree. Okay, we've got some things going on. Let me hit you up. Was there anything else you wanted to add, brother?
I just wanted to touch on. Sorry, was there something there?
No, that was you. Sorry, there was just probably a little glitch in the matrix.
Oh, me? Oh, okay, gotcha. No, I just wanted to touch a little bit on the AG and Kirby Joseph situation too. It just seemed like the demeanor of KJ was, he seemed like, he needs to be stepping up, or he is expected to be, somewhat of a leader in some sort of a sense. And so I just I wanted to pick your brain about, what your response was to what you saw on, the television during the game, because it just seemed like, he just needed to step up, and he did. And AG was just, all up in their asses, because they were not performing. And so your thoughts, and then I'll leave it to you guys, and I'll let you guys go. But you guys take care. And Chris, I'm glad that you're doing good after the hurricane. And
thanks,
Ash, you take care of yourself, buddy. Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Really appreciate that. I genuinely do. Thank you. KJ, let's talk about that first. He absolutely, I see a different side of him today. After, I always saw him as that kind of clowning around kind of guy, but when you see him and you get that vision of him in the moment and being locked in, that's great. AG, I think he is absolutely the guy. You can see that in him right now, and as a defensive coach and what he expects out of his players. And he isn't just ranting and raving and going like a lunatic on the sideline because they scored 14 points on us. He was coaching. He was absolutely coaching. And he put the dam up and he stopped the flow right then. And it was through, his emotion and the power that he brings in the sideline and his ability to coach those guys into place. He spoke to them in a way they understood and they reacted to, and they just shut that team down after that. And I'll be 100% honest. They shut that team down by spending. I got to look at I didn't look at this, and I should have. I'm going to look really quick here. If I look at the time of possession, that we only had 24 minutes in the game. They had 35 minutes of possession against this defense. And you talk about a team that had an opportunity to get to a defense that had an opportunity to tire out, to feel some significant pain and wear thin, and they didn't. The points were scored early, and it didn't matter that they spent all that time on the field. They shut that team down, and that's, again, the mark of a good team, a well-coached team. And Kirby, I think, very well may be that kind of swaggy leader on the defense in that kind of clowny way that he does. And I don't want to, clown can have a negative connotation, so I don't want people to take it that way. He has a good time. Like, he's a class clown, right? Kind of has fun, but he, like, CJGJ was a guy that was kind of clowning, but kind of brought people together and pumped them up, right? Kirby's a better version of that, is what I'm trying to, is what I mean when I refer to that. And I think he brings these players together, but allows them to have that swag when they do it. But when it's time to work, when it's time to be in the office and do business, he's there and he's serious and he knows how to do that, and then translate that into kind of that more fun, loose play as a player. So I love what we're seeing out of Kirby and his growth as a player and a leader in that locker room. Ash, anything to add, or you just want to come in ignorant slut again?
Yeah, if you look at team stats, one team had 416 yards, the other team had 225. It really doesn't feel like the team that dominated yards to that level should have lost by, 38 points?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. The only stat that the Lions really beat them in was rushing yardage by 6 yards. And everything else pretty much goes the opposite way. Like, the Lions gave up more sacks. They had a lower yards per play. All of these things kind of, but then the thing that matters, the one that matters, is that 2 fumbles lost, 2 interceptions thrown, and then everything else that happens doesn't matter. Like, this, the aspects of the game that needed to step up today to make this a ridiculously dominant game did. Ones that didn't really much work to do. It's not like they took the day off, but they also, they didn't. There's no showboating today, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, yeah.
In that regard, they didn't. There were no garbage stats up by a whole bunch of points. Like they just kept getting really good kick returns, having 20 yards to the end zone. Like what are you going to do? Just stop scoring? Like nobody from the 2007 Patriots has ever gone on camera and been like, "Man, I wish we were nicer to a lot of teams than we were." It's never happened, and it will never happen. You know,
we didn't have a good reputation amongst the other players. It was really tough to.
It was difficult to show up to all those league awards meetings where we were taking every single award and having other teams boo us as we walked on stage to collect our trophies. You know, like that has never been nope. This isn't a sport where you give out participation trophies. You know, so it's just awesome. Like everything about today was great. That's where I'm at on this one at this point.
Yeah. All right. Let me get Michelle with the Hims player of the game. This is the line that I'm going to take. You shouldn't type it if you don't mean it. What the fuck, people? I've been drinking since the start of the game. I don't remember who's who. But that's only because she misstated who the player was. Love it. Khalif Raymond, the Hims rock hard player of the game. Good pick, Michelle. He absolutely deserves that. And great points. I mean, as I walk down these stats, Ash, 200 yards more, 200 yards passing more, about 5 more rushing yards, or 5 less rushing yards than the Lions, a yard per play higher average, 10 more first downs, 3 times the third down efficiency, almost 2/3 the plays we had of theirs. I mean, they had much more than us. We allowed 4 sacks to their 1. Penalties, they got bumped on the penalties. The fumbles and interceptions on their side burnt, but time of possessions they had by 11 minutes. I mean, by all stats in the game, they should have won. But when you come right down to it, points per minute ball held, the Lions won that one, and I guess that's the one that matters today.
Yeah, like you can't give up 4 turnovers and a whole bunch of kick return yards and hope that you're going to win that game. Like their defense had no chance today.
Yeah,
that's just the way that it is, and it was kind of nice to not feel Jameson Williams not being there. You know, not to bring a downer to the table, but when they were talking about appealing and given the nature of the only things that ever get 2-game suspensions for PEDs, I was like you're not gonna win. There's no way to win this appeal. You either filed the paperwork or you did not file the paperwork. And maybe the Titans isn't the one we need to try to keep them on the field for. It would have been nice, but the appeals process does not take 2 weeks. There was no way he was going to be there for Green Bay. So let's just take the issue and move on with our lives, and then in the off season, decisions can be made about that and all of its ramifications for the future. But yeah, they did not need him this week. Hopefully next week they don't either, because we're watching Malik Willis try to throw a ball more than 20 yards with any level of accuracy and fail. Because if you do that against the Detroit Lions, that's a pick, baby.
I will close with
there
this.
are no easy little dump tosses.
Yeah. Yep. I will close with this. This is if you want to beat the Detroit Lions, all you have to know what the storyline is that week. Khalif Raymond, former Tennessee Titan, let walk in free agency. Probably a little chip on his shoulder, a little something to work out. Oh, it's National Tight Ends Day. You get 3 people, they're getting the ball. That's just how it works. Oh, you're playing Dallas this year? Oh, we're going to have all kinds of eligible linemen throwing and catching balls. You can fucking bet that, because that's the story. You want to beat Dan Campbell? Figure out what the story of the game is, because that's what he's going to punch you in the face with. And that's that. And when he does,
I will beat your ass.
End of the story. I think I've just figured out how to defend the Detroit Lions.
Honestly, it makes sense because they have pretty consistently shown an ability to get whoever's revenge game this is. They will get that person their revenge most of the time.
Yeah.
If it's a reasonable ask,
Yeah. All right. With that, we are going to call this a show. Thank you all for calling in. We appreciate you. We had a good time. Some really interesting takes and some really good stuff in there. Love doing these. We will see you next week as we ball drag the Green Bay Packers and the season starts against the division. Remember, don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. If you sign up and donate $5 or more per month, you'll get access to the Slack chat, which is where all the inside jokes come from. And there's a week of great conversation in the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. A lot of fun. And the one thing, I mean, the way it has improved so much in the just the way people deal with each other. It's a great place, a lot of good stuff, and everybody can feel like they can have fun and take part. It's a great place. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. $5 or more a month will get you access to that. And look, if you don't want to give $5 or you just want to support the show, you can use the Patreon and even ignore the Slack if you want. It helps us out. It helps us do what we do. Also follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. But do not follow Mr. Tweetson. Don't. He's not even going to answer. He doesn't even go on Twitter. He forgot his password. It's not there. Don't follow him. DET Lions Podcast. Follow that one, and you hear all about the show, what's going on, what's coming, what's going, what the haps are, and when we're going to broadcast. All right. Give us a call via Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast, or call us to the Lions line, 248-782-8384, 248 you fug. Leave us a good message, and we'll get you on, and we'll put your message. Those are the funnest, the drunkest of the drunk in the voice messages. I love putting those on this show. And we will do a show. Yep. Riz and I are here this week, so we will put something together for everybody. Also, go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com and subscribe to the podcast, because when you do that, Mr. Ash gets to do
automagically.
Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no trousers, no hot tubs, and no problems, because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit connections, and we got 52 inches of love coming for Jordan.